Okay, we will get going here. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to day 2 of the CFA 2023 AGM. I think it was an exciting day yesterday. I don't know if anybody else found it exciting. Yeah, it was super. And again, I just want to say how amazing our CFA team is. We have a small staff. Most people, I think, are shocked. I asked someone last night, how many staff do you think we have? Somebody said 35. We have 7, I think. So we have 7 absolute rock stars. So they did an amazing job yesterday, and I'm expecting they'll deliver today as well. So we do have another jam-packed day, and we're going to start with a presentation from the new Farm Credit Canada President and CEO, Justine Hendricks. So we have a few business items from yesterday. And then we're going to move right into resolutions. So a reminder to everybody to make sure you have your voting credentials. You should have received an email, and that you can upload it right now. Make sure you can log in and you're able to vote. And if you are having any trouble, please see Catherine. She is here somewhere. And with that, I'll just get right on with it. And it is my absolute distinct pleasure to invite Justine Hendricks, the new President and CEO of Farm Credit Canada, to the podium. Please.
Yes. Bon matin tout le monde. Thank you.
Good morning.
So I hear a few of you were woken up by some horns last night, and the crew's at work in terms of clearing the snow in Ottawa. So hopefully this will be a good way to start your morning before you have a busy day. So I'm really delighted to be with the CFA and stakeholders to get to know all of you. I have to say I'm enjoying those that I'm starting to recognize, since today is about day 26 for me on the job as CEO. But before I dive, I wanted to take a moment and actually thank the CFA for the opportunity to speak to everyone today. And a special thanks to Mary for her leadership and Keith for his welcoming arms as I begin my journey in this amazing sector. Darlene and I even made the PowerPoint yesterday, so that was pretty cool, wouldn't you say? If we haven't met already, my name's Justine Hendricks, and I'm FCC's new President and CEO. I started in the role January 30th. I think today is day 26 or day 27. It kind of feels sometimes like I had another child. You know, first you start in days, then you start talking about weeks, then months, and then years. But I've decided before I go there, I'll pretty much start to enjoy every single day of this new journey in stewardship. Given I've only been with FCC just over a month, I wanted to walk you through some of the 3 things I've learned in my first 26 days, and which I'll bring with me each and every day on the job. But first, a quick introduction. You might be wondering, who's this Justine anyway? How did she arrive, or how did she even get this job? Well, I don't have a lot of time to tell you a really, really long story, but I do know that everyone has grassroots, and mine, for a short version, are connected to food and food production. I've spent most of my 20-plus career in export development and lending with RBC. And when the President and CEO opportunity role came, it was an opportunity for me to bring my experience, my know-how to the Canadian ag and agri-food sector, and it was also a chance to me to bring things full circle. You see, my mom was a dietitian, amongst the first classes of dietitians in this country. This photo is of her in the 1960s, and she's got all sorts of bottles of cure-alls and natural elixirs. By the way, if you look carefully, there's even some prairie weed hidden in there. The sign was probably already present, I just hadn't officially arrived in the world yet. Mother devoted her more than 40-year career to improving the nutrition and food security of Canadians, from the development of Canada's food guide, as well as food security policies towards the latter part of her career. She was described by some as follows. Her name was Suzanne. Suzanne combined style, intelligence, hard work, and determination in all that she did. She impressed those around her by ability to see what was needed in the future and make it happen. She was also the steward and CEO of the National Institute of Nutrition. Some would say, the apple does not fall far from the tree. Mom got a call more than once, actually, telling her, Suzanne, Canada needs you. I got a call too, once thus far, but here I am full circle, and I'm here to serve. I'm so honored to help chart the next chapter of FCC and the industry that feeds Canadians and the world. So now back to my 3 lessons. Lesson number 1, I've been deeply, deeply impressed with the people, the passion, and the knowledge of this industry. Je me suis donné pour priorité.
My priority has been to meet as many staff people and clients of FCC as possible, as well as resource people within the industry within my first month. And it was an absolutely extraordinary experience. Judging by the people I've met so far, I would have to say that there's a treasure of experience and knowledge within this industry, including at FCC. I felt that if I could add up all of the years of experience that are there, we could easily reach 10,000 years. And the human resources at FCC did a calculation for me, and actually we have 20,000 years of experience in the Canadian market.
More than 20,000 years of experience that FCC brings to the industry each and every day. Trust me, I had HR calculate it for me. And I keep on telling the team that it's my statistic, not JP Gervais. I think now I'm probably going to go to calculating the loyalty of our customers. And I'm pretty sure that when I do that, I'll probably hit 40,000, given how long some of our customers have been with us. So this vast accumulation of knowledge and experience is not just palatable at FCC, it's across all the industry. In just this first month, I've met farmers, food entrepreneurs, industry partners, sector champions from across the country, working tirelessly to advance their operations, collaborating together to help their peers, and ultimately increase Canada's GDP. The industry currently contributes 6.8% of Canada's GDP. Now that's inspiration. There are passionate and committed professionals who are doing everything they can to produce food for Canadian and consumers all around the globe. I'm so impressed with the drive and dedication at every level. As I meet with people from across the industry, funny enough, they all start by saying the same thing, in so many words. Congrats, Justine. Welcome to the industry. You are coming to an outstanding organization, AKA Hendricks, don't screw it up. I promise I don't plan to, and hopefully the first 30 days have been a good sign. These are passionate and committed professionals. In many cases, are multi-generational businesses. Farmers with dirt under their fingernails, a personal connection to the land, to their livestock, and to the care provided to their animals, and a commitment to stewardship and long-term success. And businesses up and down the food value chain that work hard to supply the necessary inputs to farmers or who produce amazing food products that we consume each and every day. Je suis frappée aussi par...
I'm also struck by the diversity within this industry. There are young people, there are women entrepreneurs, there are producers, processors, including Indigenous people. They work in a dynamic industry with new points of view.
People and passion. I'm inspired by FCC's ability to give back to the community and to bring the industry together to make a difference. Just a few weeks ago, on February 15th, we announced the results of the latest Drive Away Hunger campaign, a campaign some of you may be aware that was started by an FCC staff 20 years ago who wanted to make a difference. This last year, the campaign, which involved 95 industry partners who came together, raised over 40 million meals for food banks and feeding programs across this country. Let me say it again, 40 million meals in just 1 year. 40 million years in experience will take a few more staff at FCC. The second thing I've learned this past month, it's astonishingly innovative and an adaptable industry. At the Future of Food conference, I spoke with a customer who told me he faces curveballs on a weekly basis and has to react quickly to be successful. He got one heck of a blow at age 21 when his father tragically died and he was faced with stepping into a huge leadership role. He won an FCC Customer Award and celebrated his 10-year anniversary in business. Meanwhile, I was celebrating 10 days as FCC's new CEO. He was thankful to have the chance to sit with the CEO and chair of the board for a dinner. And I was in awe at this man's courage, his tenacity, and his resilience. À ce stade-ci, nous savons que
We know at this stage that the agri-food industry in Canada mobilized over the past 3 years in order to innovate and to adapt in order to better serve our market in new ways. And the clients that I've had discussions with are no exception. I see that the agri-food and agriculture sector are resilient and adapt quickly. They're willing to try new ideas and to use new technologies, and they are the first users.
AGM is building a resilient future for Canadian agriculture. And in the past month, I've heard firsthand our industry is already a sustainably early adopter. Producers don't need to be told to act in a resilient and sustainable way. They've been doing it forever. And still, I'm hearing about how the industry has embraced new production practices and used technology to become more efficient, to overcome labor shortages, and to enhance what they can produce while doing it sustainably. And I share this knowing it's not easy, and there's still so much work ahead of us. Technology can mean different things to different people. It can bring robotics to some, a new assembly line to others, or learning from others around the world and bringing their way of doing into your operation. So back to the theme of this AGM, building a resilient future for Canadian agriculture. Why? Well, because collectively, we have a big challenge and we also have a huge opportunity ahead of us. Producing more food in a sustainable and economically viable way is incredibly complex, and it will take commitment and partnership. So how will the industry come together to build a resilient future? Well, the answer to this question will be that secret ingredient. The future is a generational opportunity, and it brings me to the third lesson from my first month on the job. So let's talk about this huge opportunity. I'm here getting fully immersed in the food industry, but from my previous work at Export Development Canada, I remember the tremendous potential for Canadian ag food and food exports. The world needs more of Canada's ag and agri-food. This industry is best poised to put a feather in Canada's hat. I guess I need to go to clicker school or something too. Here we go. As you can see from this chart, which our economics team over at FCC pulled together, Canada is one of a handful of nations that produces more ag and food products than we consume. Il s'agit d'une ventilation.
This shows you the agri-food exports per capita since 1988. And you'll see that there has been a constant increase. This is good news in and of itself. The fact that the world population is increasing quite quickly, as is the middle class worldwide, is an opportunity. And in order to best use this opportunity, Canada has to invest in research and development so that the rate of growth quickens faster than it did over the past 35 years.
From our economics team, and the takeaways from this one, productivity growth is a major success story in Canadian agriculture, up until recently. This is growth by decades starting in 1961, back when my mom was posing for photos with her natural elixirs and her prairie weed. And we've advanced the business of agriculture in giant leaps since then. Innovation, technology advancement, and increased domestic food consumption, as well as global exports. In the last decade, though, we've been more productive, but at a declining rate. This isn't entirely surprising. In a way, the low-hanging fruit of productivity are gone. World population and middle class are growing, but so is global food insecurity. And so is the need to reduce carbon emissions. This calls for Canadian agriculture to continue to be more productive and even increase the pace of productivity growth for the next decade, as opposed to a declining rate of productivity that we've observed in the last 10 years. It's going to take investment in R&D, it's going to take capital, knowledge, and advisory services, which are all going to grow productivity at a faster pace. It will also take young professionals of all backgrounds and experience to help the sector conquer these new opportunities, and FCC is committed to helping these areas in the long run. As I began to meet people passionate about this industry, including some of you in the room, I'm learning that this opportunity is even bigger than I imagined. On day 2 of the job, I attended the CAPI Feeding Hungry World event here in Ottawa. It was a day of making connections and hearing firsthand from some of the top leaders in the industry. And most of all, to get so many invites to join them to better understand their subsector. Suffice to say, I have a long list of farms, plants, greenhouses, grain silos to climb this summer. We're actually working on how we can make it all happen. But as long as I get a chance to stop at a few dairy farms to take some ice cream, and my number one choice is to be able to drive one of those forklifts, I think it's going to all be worthwhile. À FAC, nous sommes déterminés à faire progresser.
At FCC, we want to see this extraordinary industry progress, and we want to work with all of you to continue to support the extraordinary work that is done within the agri-food and agriculture sector throughout Canada today and for the future. We have to unite our forces so that we can make the most of this huge opportunity to create a better future for the agri-food and agriculture sector.
My first 30 days, and I can't wait for what's yet to come. So what is next? As I've mentioned, I'm very excited to continue to connect and partnering with others who are equally as passionate about making an impact in the industry. As Canada's single lender and dedicated to the industry for the past 60 years, FCC finds itself at a unique crossroad between industry and policy. We're equipped with many of the necessary tools to support the industry towards a prosperous future and make a huge impact for Canada. So that's the question I want to leave you with. How can we make an impact together? Comment pouvons-nous
How can we make an impact together?
To conquer, and the world needs more of Canadian ag and agri-food. You know, over the years, I've been described in many ways. Some would say, when the going gets tough, Justine gets going and makes the best darn lemonade out of a bunch of lemons. I've been described as an innovator, a problem solver, and my favorite one is a force to be reckoned with. I think Mary is probably one of those people too. But for now, I'm going to decide, instead of taking it as an insult, I'll take it as a compliment. Merci de m'avoir permis de
Thank you for allowing me to start this day off for you. It was an honor.
This morning. It's been a true honor to speak to all of you, and I say, see you very soon. Have a great AGM, et à bientôt. Merci.